research deep dive is on the same Zoom line as this meeting, correct?
Correct. No one needs to go anywhere.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you again to the two presenters that we've had so far, and I want to turn it over to the team from SCAG to talk about their work, which, as we mentioned earlier, it's just critical that this not exist in a silo, and this is work that SCAG has been doing in particular over the course of the last couple of years that we want to make sure to align with what it is that we're doing here.
Thanks, Mike. I'm going to pull up my screen. I wasn't sure if you all were going to put the slides on. And actually, Jesse, do you have the slides available?
Yeah, but in a PDF form.
Got it. Here we go. Never mind. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. And I'm very happy to be here. And as Mike has mentioned, share some of the work that I've been leading at SCAG, and SCAG has been engaged in since 2021. We really believe that our program is, very much aligned in terms of the values and that triple bottom line thinking in terms of economic growth. And we want to be good stewards of, public dollars and make sure we're coordinating and being consistent in a lot of the work that we're doing, because it is similar, and I think it can build on the work of the CERF. And so today, for those who I haven't had the pleasure to meet yet, I'm Victor Negrete. I'm the manager of Inclusive Economic Growth, a new department at the Southern California Association of Governments. And for anyone who's not familiar, SCAG traditionally has been, we lead the development of the long-range regional transportation plan for Southern California. More recently, we lead the development of what we call the sustainable community strategy as well. It's all about having a vision for the future growth of our region that, again, meets those climate goals, meets a number of other goals in terms of equity and determining the housing we need to house our population around Southern California. And the SCAG region, so you're aware, covers 191 cities in 6 counties, including Orange County, and about 19 million residents. So it's roughly half the state's population. So we're a very large region, and as a result, we're not only engaging with the Orange County CERF process, but we're engaging in a total of 5 different CERF regions that are encompassed throughout SCAG. Our work that really is, again, where I think there's a lot of overlap with some of the CERF principles and goals is in 2021, coming out of the pandemic, and as we witnessed the immediate and still lingering economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, and how the most disadvantaged communities were disproportionately affected. Our leadership, our stakeholders are the representatives, elected officials from those 191 cities and 6 counties around Southern California, really wanted us to put together a strategy of how do we ensure that the recovery from that pandemic and future growth is much more inclusive than it has been in the past. And so the entire strategy, which produced approximately 50 different strategies and things we should be engaging on, really centered on these principles that you see here on your screen. We were fortunate then to get a one-time grant from the state of California to implement work around about 7 or 8 of those 50 strategies. And so currently, the work we're doing is, these are some of the projects that we're leading, and I'll go into some level of detail, but not too much, because I know we're limited here in time, but I'm more than happy to continue the conversation afterwards. And there are plenty of opportunities to engage. We want community input and feedback on all of these. And so I'll be available to connect afterwards and offline as well. But we're developing a job quality index, which I'll talk about. We're looking at the economic impacts of inequity. So what are the racial and gender pay gaps in Orange County costing the regional economy every year? We're developing procurement toolkits to help our cities, our stakeholders, to remove or address any unintentional barriers that are preventing small, diverse businesses from accessing those public contracts that are so key to small business growth. We're developing job plans to expand the number of and access to living wage jobs. And again, we're doing this 5 times, and we're doing this in 5 different CERF regions. And we're going to be looking at apprenticeships and how to expand on the different models that are out there and really promote them as a more inclusive pathway to good jobs. And then we're developing a report that looks at some of the intersectional barriers, such as childcare and access to transportation, housing instability. And we're going to be convening working groups of subject matter experts to develop some strategies. One of the other functions that SCAG fills is we advocate for state policies to respond to local needs that we identify. So the first deliverable that I'll share about, this is currently being developed with the help of a consultant team, and we're developing a job quality index. This was something that was actually recommended by the California Future Work Commission to look at, so we can measure the types of jobs that are growing in the region, but also looking beyond just the simple pay metric. In addition, so what other factors are important to the region's workforce? So we're considering things like benefits, flexibility, access to professional development opportunities, and mobility. And so we're currently working to develop that framework, the metric that's going to be what we use to measure job growth in the region going forward. And we're expecting to have that framework completed this summer. So we have a senior economist at SCAG, and she's leading some projects to study, again, the economic impacts of racial and gender inequity in each of our counties. We're working some software models to imagine what the economy would look like if we addressed those. And so how much, what's the business case? What are we losing because we currently have such inequities in our pay gaps, and those kinds of things. And we are expecting to have some of that research completed again this summer as well. And we'll be sharing it out. We would for many of these deliverables would love the opportunity to come back and share with Orange County CERF. And just see, this is an area where I believe some of the work you're doing is similar, and so we want to be consistent in our approaches and ultimately compare the findings. Just this month, we launched a project with HRNA Advisors, our consultant, to develop these toolkits, which again are going to look at the common barriers that we're going to work with chambers of commerce, the Black Chamber, Hispanic Chamber, American Indian Chambers of Commerce in our region to understand what is preventing small business from accessing public contracts, as well as being major providers for local supply chains. We're also working with anchor institutions such as hospitals, universities, to understand where there's opportunities to provide, again, more, small business opportunities so that they can really thrive in our region. So we make sure we're keeping as much of our public dollars as well as supply chain dollars in the local economy. And we expect that work to be done in October. We're working with we were talking earlier about local research institutions. So SCAG is partnered with the Community College Centers of Excellence, again, in each of these 5 CERF regions. And we're going to be looking at the occupations available in each county, specifically living wage jobs. And also, we're hoping in this case to be consistent with the goals of each CERF region. And so, depending on the sectors that are a priority in each of these regions, use that as a screen as well, right? And so we want to make sure that the living wage jobs that we're going to be ultimately developing educational pathways, identifying gaps and opportunities to improve these with the community colleges, are consistent with local priorities. And so as we do the labor market analysis to identify the living wage jobs that are current and expected in the future for each county, we want to make sure that we're going to develop pathways and really focus on areas that resonate with each community, because we do, the community colleges, which I worked for a while, they have hundreds of pathways, and we're going to focus on about 20 to 25 pathways that are really of importance and significance to the local community, and really do a deep dive from the high school level to community college, and potentially, we want to focus on middle skills, but potentially also into bachelor's level education. And we are working to develop, this is going to be a report on best practices, essentially for the growth of apprenticeships and also project labor agreements in construction projects around Southern California. And this work we're expecting to be completed in November this year, which is during National Apprenticeship Week, which is a federally recognized week dedicated to apprenticeship development. And then finally, in address, we know that when we talk to communities about the types of jobs they'd like to see and the type of training and education that's needed to reach those jobs, we know we're going to hear about the barriers. So even if there was an unlimited share of new jobs and free training and whatnot, there's still going to be barriers that keep people from accessing that training or those employment opportunities, such as lack of childcare, lack of access to transportation, housing instability, all these things. And so this one's a region-wide report where we're gonna look at those common barriers that Southern California residents in each of our counties are experiencing, and again we're going to do a real deep dive into strategies and recommendations, whether it's funding or policy changes that we need to address those common barriers that Southern California residents, with a focus on low income and communities of color, are facing. And so this project, we're currently developing the RFP, and we expect that RFP to be released later this spring. And I know that a number of folks here would be interested. So again, I look forward to following up with you afterwards. And this is my contact information. I'm always available. So I'd love to share with you more about SCAG's work in this area and others. And thank you for the opportunity to present today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Victor. And